Yes, to this. Welcome back, and shout out to Intel for powering our streaming rig. Welcome back. It's time to chat with Francis Santos from Square Enix, publishers of the recently released Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition and countless other games. As previously mentioned, Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition is now available on PC with PC exclusive features and performance such as support up to 8K resolution and HDR10. It also includes previously released content for the console versions and a first-person mode. Francis is a product marketing manager for Square Enix and is currently the marketing lead for Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition and has worked with Square Enix in such games as Nier Automata. I hope I said that right. How's your Friday going, Francis?
Hey guys, yeah, it's going great. Friday after launch is always a big relief, so thanks for having me on. Have my coffee, ready to go, ready to, talk to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. Great to see you again. Congrats on the launch. And I'm already going to hit you with one question that's off script, really quick. I like to call it Final Fantasy XV. Is that just super annoying and super wrong, or can I do that?
No, it's not super wrong. It's very rare, for others to call it XV. You're probably one of the first persons who actually call it that I've heard. So, you're unique in that way.
Awesome.
Good answer.
So, my question is, how has the reception been so far for Final Fantasy XV Windows Edition?
I mean, happy to say that everything that I've been reading, like on Steam, positive is very positive. Positive user reviews. PC players have been waiting for a whole year to get Final Fantasy 15. So we really wanted to make sure that the game was up to par to the PC audience's expectations and standards. From what I've been reading on Steam user reviews, they're really happy with it. So, but we're not really stopping there. We want to make sure that we keep making updates to fix to fix bugs and stomp out bugs. We really want to build off of the strong launch and make sure that we keep optimizing the game to make the experience as good as it can be.
Awesome. I gotta say, it's been a fantastic experience for me so far. There's been a bunch of games in the past that have been brought over from console to PC. Out of all of them, I could say Final Fantasy 15 is definitely one of the smoothest I've played. It was pretty flawless.
Agreed.
It's been extremely smooth. I haven't encountered anything. It's been amazing, and I'm enjoying the game itself, which is fantastic. So PC gamers are always looking to play games that were previously available on console. How does this release of Final Fantasy 15 appeal to the PC gamers who passed on the console version?
Yeah, so there's a couple things. First, they get everything that was already released on the console version. So that means they get the season pass, they get the DLC, everything that came along with the console version. They get for free, basically, on the Windows Edition version. Growing up as a gamer, a PC gamer myself, I always wanted to test the limits of my rig and what it could do. And I think, kind of for this generation, Final Fantasy 15 is kind of the type of game that allows you to do that, with up to 4K HDR quality.
Yeah, I would like to echo Alexis's thoughts and comments about, being a gamer who's played other console to PC conversions before and, kind of worried about, I wonder if this is going to be there. I wonder if there'll be more features for the graphics. Check. There's tons more features for the graphics. I wonder how the controller, when I first plugged in my controller, I'm like, I wonder how the controller is just, if it's going to automatically work or if I'm going to have to reboot the game. Nope, automatically worked. It was perfect. And I love that you guys took the correct step of just bundling in the DLC.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to say, we can make a little more money if we charge for that. But no,
right.
You guys did a fantastic job of bundling in all that DLC. It's amazing value.
Yeah, it's really cool. I agree with you. What you were saying when I was younger too, when I'd upgrade my PC, the first thing I'd look for is like the highest caliber game that I can play just to test it. And it's definitely one of those games. Like you get in there, you look at the scenery, you look at some of the mobs, the NVIDIA like hairworks and all those extra NVIDIA features. It's fantastic. You guys really knocked it out of the park.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really proud of it. So, yeah.
We got to change Can It Play Crisis to Can It Play Final Fantasy 15 maxed out. Can it play Final Fantasy 15 max settings?
Exactly.
That'll be the new standard.
So before the launch, obviously you have the launch this week. You're checking out the feedback. But before that, you guys had launched the demo. What kind of feedback did you get from fans that were checking out the demo?
Yeah, I think the demo was a big kind of sigh of relief for a lot of people who were unsure whether or not the game would play smoothly on their PCs. So people have kind of been mentioning that having a free option to test the game and the game quality was super helpful because I mean no one wants to spend money on a game that can't run smoothly.
Yep.
So and if they found that out after the fact, I'd be super pissed. I mean, I know I would be. So we made the free demo for the console version to give the console players a taste of what the gameplay and the graphics for the console would be. But I think for any PC player who passed on the console version, they might have been privy to the console version but not invested in it because it's not on PC like they're used to playing, right? So I think making the demo for the PC was a must for us because we wanted to make sure that the PC audience knew that we were invested in making a PC version of Final Fantasy 15, not just a port of the console version.
Sure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. Yeah, well done. The message was well received, and I love companies that release demos because that's showing a level of confidence. When you have confidence in your product, you are able to give people a little test and say, hey, try it out. We think
Yeah.
you're going to love it. Go ahead and try it out for yourself.
It's so rare. It's something we
Exactly.
rarely see anymore.
I know.
Demos. It's
It
pretty
used
cool.
to be everywhere, but
I know.
now it's very rare.
So we talked about this briefly with the NVIDIA Hairworks. How does Final Fantasy Windows Edition take advantage of the high-performance PC hardware?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not really a developer myself, but I know with HDR support, the image quality that can be output is up to 4K. The trailer you just saw says 8K, but we know there's no technology out there that can make 8K yet. But
Right.
When it does exist, it can reach up to 8K. So
That's awesome.
the maximum frame rate I think goes up to 120 FPS, up to depending on your rig. But the original cutscenes were improved from the console version with 4K graphics quality, high resolution textures, and integration of the characters and their environments. All helped to provide finer and more detailed expressions of the in-game Final Fantasy 15 world. So.
Sweet.
We've also partnered with NVIDIA pretty heavily to integrate NVIDIA GameWorks tech to the game. That kind of adds more high quality graphic expressions. And I think, for example, just as an example, we've been able to depict, if you look at the grass in the game, if you just load up and you walk out of the gas station and you look at the grass in the game, don't know exactly, you don't get the idea of how much love and it went into the creation of that. But I mean, the high quality shadows, I'm told, they were made with voxel-based precision. So
Wow.
even the hair on the monsters in Final Fantasy 15 were drawn with polygons, like millions of polygons,
Wow.
with I'm quoting this now, high precision simulations for every single strand of hair. So
That's crazy.
Well,
that's the kind of detail
Wow.
and love that goes into every single little pixel for Final Fantasy 15. So
Yeah, it's absolutely breathtaking. That scene you said when you walk out into the grass field for the first time and you see all the waves of grass flowing, I was like, this is insane.
Yes.
And then there's another part I got to yesterday where it was on a beach, and the sand on the beach, I was like, what? This looks... It's not... There's a beach.
Spoilers.
The sand looked amazing. I was like, this looks real. It was so crazy. It's really, really something else.
Also, to piggyback on the NVIDIA integration, I've been using the NVIDIA Shadowplay highlights, so that's built into the game.
Oh, nice.
So as you're playing the game, if you turn that on, it's just going to save your best highlights of the game. So when I beat like a certain group of enemies or something, and I had a good rating, it says, "Oh, we saved your S rating on this battle automatically."
No, really?
It's awesome.
Like a video?
Yeah, it saves
that's
clips.
so sick.
It automatically saves highlights.
Man, I got to turn that on.
So, could you tell us about some of any technical challenges you guys encountered, well, the team encountered, while bringing a massive game like Final Fantasy XV to PC?
yeah, obviously, I mean, like I said, I'm not really a developer, but I do know after having discussions with some of the developers, specifically Ono-san from the development team, that one of the biggest challenges was the file sizes. So the data sizes needed to run the game they ended up being gigantic. So this had an effect on things like processing and load times. But our devs were, really able to work closely with NVIDIA engineers to optimize and kind of raise the bar for, any previous Final Fantasy that has been ever made. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's just an amazing technical achievement, I think. So more props to you.
Yeah, agreed.
To the entire team.
You.
Yes.
So on consoles, Final Fantasy
I'll pass your thanks along
15.
to the developers.
I'm sorry?
I said I'll pass your thanks along to the developers.
Yes.
Awesome.
Props.
Yeah, please do. So on consoles, Final Fantasy 15 received the Comrades multiplayer expansion. The PC version of the game also has this mode. So what can players expect in multiplayer for those that haven't played it on consoles yet?
Yeah, so Comrades is the multiplayer. So it was part of Season Pass. So it's the multiplayer expansion to Final Fantasy 15. So as part of that, you are thrown into a world as a Kingsglaive. So I'm not sure if you guys have seen Kingsglaive, the CG movie, which kind of accompany Final Fantasy 15 for the console launch.
Mm-hmm.
But you should watch it if you haven't seen it. It's amazing. On the level of Advent Children, not to toss it out there. There's going to be a debate probably in chat on this.
Advent Children.
But if you watched Kingsglaive or Advent Children, if you watched Kingsglaive, you'll want to check out the multiplayer expansion because one, you get to play with other people, with your friends, and two, you get to become a Kingsglaive. So Kingsglaive have powers passed on to them through Lucian kings, so the kingdom of Lucii, and that's kind of thrown into darkness for multiplayer Comrades. So you join forces with other players, your friends. You can also play offline if you want, if that's your style. It's your duty, it's your mission to bring the light back to the kingdom of Lucius.
Sweet. Maybe we can play that this weekend?
Yeah, so that's included in the PC version right now, correct?
It is, yes it is.
Wow.
So if you have Windows Edition, you have multiplayer Comrades, multiplayer expansion Comrades.
There's so much.
I gotta
scratch the surface of this game. The more I talk to Francis, I'm like, man, I have so much work to do.
Yeah, I need to get a little further in the game, and then we'll play together.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah, count me in. I'll play with you guys.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, you just carry us, obviously.
Yeah.
So before the launch, there were some announcements. Final Fantasy XV has full mod support. Could you tell us more about the choice to support mods in general?
Yeah, the mod community is obviously huge for us. It's a huge and dedicated community on Steam, and not only Steam but other platforms as well. But the whole mantra of Final Fantasy 15, as stated by Tabata-san back when we first released, is that we want to break the mold. So this kind of fits in with that. Obviously we haven't made any other announcements other than that it's coming. But it'll be the first time that players will ever get to mod Final Fantasy.
Wow,
so
it's pretty cool.
It's a huge deal for us, and it's it's a huge deal for the Final Fantasy fans as well, because who knows what'll come out of it. So.
It's gonna be pretty crazy. I can't wait to see the stuff they come up with.
Oh yeah, and I love that you guys already announced it, so the modders out there can already start getting creative, thinking about what they're going to do, and get ready for it.
Exactly. We're expecting a lot of creativity. So yeah, we're super excited.
Also, could you tell us about how the crossover costumes from Half-Life and The Sims happened? Was that like a big, in the works for months, or how did that happen?
Those were in the works for a very long time. I'm not exactly privy to who came up with the idea to do that, but we were lucky enough to have great partners with Valve and EA, and they were kind enough to allow us to work with their legendary properties like Sims and Half-Life are both iconic. So we're super excited, one, because of the weight of those properties and just meshing them together with Final Fantasy in some creative ways was kind of a dream for us. So big thanks to them. But yeah, for me, like seeing Half-Life and Final Fantasy collaborate on a scale like this, like just seeing Noctis wearing Gordon Freeman's outfit is just
right,
mind blowing for me.
It's pretty crazy.
So
exactly.
I never thought I'd see that day. So that's kind of what I mean about like breaking the mold. So
yeah, it's pretty exciting. I've been holding off putting it on because I know that I'm going to get really emotional. That I can't wait to do it. I think I'm going to do it this weekend for sure.
Yeah, it was so unbelievable that I literally thought it was fake when I saw the
this
news.
can't
I was
be
like,
real
oh,
news.
that's funny. That's not real. Like, wait a minute, this is
when
real.
I
Holy
heard
crap.
we were doing it, I was like, you're joking. This isn't real.
Can you tell people how to get
But
those
yeah,
costumes?
now it's real.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Say it again.
Can you tell people how to get those costumes if they don't know?
Yeah. So if you buy the game, if you pre-ordered it, you get it. And if you buy the game before May 1st, you also get it. So on Steam, it's through the Steam Workshop, and on Origin, you just get it as a package for buying it.
Okay. So if it's Steam, you only get Half-Life, if it's EA Origin, you only get The Sims, or is it both?
Yeah, so they're specific to Steam and Origin. So
gotcha.
Makes sense.
on Steam,
yeah.
you can get the Half-Life skin, and on Origin, you can get the Sim skins.
Yep, that makes total sense. So
Yeah.
I'm on Steam, and I can't wait to get that Gordon Freeman outfit. I'm
Me
going
too.
to do that this
Me
weekend.
too.
So changing gears, how did you get involved with the gaming industry?
Oh, yeah, that's a kind of a long story, but I can give you the TLDR
Sure.
version if you want.
You can give us a long story too if you want.
Okay, well, I mean, so maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was working for an email company, and one day I felt something on my neck, and I kind of had a medical scare. And literally, I thought, I went to the doctor, and I thought, they're going to take some tests, they're gonna look at it, and it's going to be something super bad. And I, the worst thoughts you can think of
course.
that go through your head at that
Right.
moment, and you think it's over for you, right? So, but the good news is that it wasn't. So I got the news from my doctor, and everything checked out. Everything was okay. But right after that, I had just like an immediate revelation that I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not where I want to be. Life is short. So what do I need to do? How do I start making my way to being where I want to be, which is in the gaming industry?
Yeah.
So, living in Southern California, I looked for opportunities. I was looking for opportunities wherever I could find it to break into the gaming industry. And mind you, I was already pretty high up in my current position. I was an email marketing manager. I had a team. I was on a manager level, and I found an opportunity in the Bay Area to break in. So I took a pay cut. I took a title cut. And I moved to the Bay Area to just break into the gaming industry, and it's where I wanted to be. So I went from a manager of my own team to a coordinator, working with another team, but I was where I wanted to be, right? So finally, and after a few years of experience, I applied Square Enix because I miss my family down here in Southern California, and I missed being around my close friends. So now here I am working on one of the greatest franchises ever made,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
for a company that I've adored since I was a kid. So it's honestly a dream. So.
That's awesome, man. That's super inspiring. I mean, sometimes it takes something scary like that to happen in your life for you to kind of be like, you're right, like life's too short. This is not what I want to be doing. I want to get into this. And sometimes you got to make those sacrifices too, right? To, like you said, you take a pay cut, you take a title cut, but you're in what you love doing, and you can always get that back, which I'm sure you've achieved. So congrats, man, because that's pretty cool. That's an awesome story. It's very similar to, I think, what a lot of us have gone through.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of sad, like, that a lot of people don't kind of have that revelation, like, until something happens to them. But I was lucky enough to push through it. So
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, truly an amazing story. I'm very glad that you shared the long version for us. It wasn't even that long. I was like, man, what's gonna happen next? But that's awesome.
Enthralled.
I mean, that's great advice for people out there right now. I mean, if you're just kind of living day to day and just going with the flow, you might want to give yourself a check and say, you know what, am I really where I want to be? And do I want to switch gears? Do I want to start over if I have to start over? Whatever it takes to get in the path that you want to be on, instead of just the path that you're flowing with.
For sure.
So you have a very unique story, but do you have any advice for other people and tips of how to get into the gaming industry?
Yeah, I guess what I would say is, yeah. So I've interviewed a few people in my day, and I think in the gaming industry, when when you interview and when you apply to a game company, there's kind of a side that you don't see where the managers, the people you're talking to, really they expect they've come to expect you to be like a huge fanboy or fangirl. So they kind of filter those out. It's great, sometimes when you apply because you're a fan, but you also have to make sure that you portray yourself in a way that you can convince them that you can do the job.
Yep.
Right. So it's great to have passion and it's great to be passionate about the game, but if you can't do the job, then you won't last. So, passion and drive can really push you as far as you can go, but you also have to hone your craft and make sure that you can actually do the job well. And a lot of people who apply to game companies kind of forget that. So they heavily rely on, I'm super passionate about this game.
Yep.
I love this company. I love this franchise type stuff. And it's, obviously it's really great, but you also need to be able to do the job. So my advice is to, when you're applying and when you're interviewing, going through that process, make sure you keep that in mind. That's, being a fan is one thing, but being an employee is also separate from that. So.
Yeah, that's a really good answer.
Yeah,
Something
that's a
I
great
never really
answer.
thought
Yeah.
of. You put on your resume, I could speedrun Final Fantasy VII. Well,
Yeah.
What? Get out of
exactly.
here.
Yeah, I've experienced the same exact thing you're talking about there, where interviewed a lot of different people from different backgrounds and different positions, and sometimes you get somebody who's just focused so much on just telling you about their passion, which is great,
Right.
but then they don't have a well-rounded attitude about everything, or a well-rounded knowledge, or respect for everything. You want them to research not only the position that they're, research the company before you come in, obviously, but research the position. Don't just come in and say, "Oh, I love your PCs. I love building so much."
What is it that I'm doing?
Well, really, your position
Yeah,
is not
exactly.
building PCs. So it's great that you love PCs, but what about the position you're interviewing for? And you never know. Sometimes employers aren't looking for somebody who's specifically has a passion for the company or
Right.
for the brand. Sometimes people want totally fresh perspective.
They want an outside
So
perspective.
yeah,
Makes
so
sense.
my advice is just go in with what you are. Go in with whatever you're really feeling about the position or the company or the brand or whatnot. Talk about that. Don't try to fake passion or talk about one thing too much.
For sure.
Yeah, totally agree.
Francis, are there any games or movies, TV, anything that you're looking forward to this year?
Yes. So I just started binge watching Jessica Jones season 2.
Oh, nice.
That just came out, so I'm super
Wait,
excited for
season
that.
2 is out? You just broke some news for me. I didn't know it was
Yeah.
out.
That's one. 2, obviously, Avengers: Infinity War. That's gonna be huge for me. In terms of games, I guess they just released a new. Aside from Square Enix, they just released a new character for Overwatch, Brigitte. I'm excited
nice.
to get my hands and play as her. So that's going to be exciting. And I just got my copy of Monster Hunter World, so that's going to be like a whole month of not seeing me after office hours and just me playing in that world. So
A whole month of grinding for those weapons, for the new armor, new weapons. Yeah, that game's pretty awesome too. I haven't tried the new Overwatch character yet. I actually haven't played it, but I hear pretty cool things. I hear she's pretty rad.
Yep, super excited.
So, my final question is, what do you like most about PC gaming versus gaming on other platforms?
Obviously, this is super subjective, but PC gaming, I've been PC gaming all my life. My dad was a huge PC buff, and he got me into PC gaming. So everything, my gaming career, my gaming play style, and everything like that came from that. For me, it's been all about kind of immersing myself in different worlds. I know you can probably do that with consoles too, but for me, my first experience on PC gaming was with EverQuest, and that was in the 90s. And
oh
yeah,
man,
it was
my brother. I love
Sorry?
EQ, man.
oh, sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I love EverQuest. You just struck a chord.
Yeah, EverQuest was huge for me. It was literally my first experience in a 3D world.
Yeah.
And you only get that experience once in a lifetime, right? So EverQuest was the first one for me. And once you load it in and you saw that you were in another 3D world, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was the first time you could ever do that. And when that happened for me, I was just like mind blown, and I was already like immediately hooked, right? So that was my first experience. I knew right when I loaded in for the first time, I was hooked. And it was the first 3D world, diving in and really losing myself in an online world. And I think that's kind of the theme for PC gaming for me. And that's kind of how, pretty much how my gaming on PCs has been shaped. So I guess I was kind of lucky that my parents were okay with me spending so much time on the PC. But yeah.
That's awesome, man. Speaking of EverQuest, have you heard of Pantheon?
No, I have not. Is it something similar to that?
I'm gonna send you a link that's gonna blow your mind, buddy.
Please do, because
actually,
because
I'm seeing you at PAX
Next was
East,
announced. Right? I was super heartbroken when it faded away.
Yeah, you're gonna be at PAX East, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'll see you there, and I'm going to take you to meet the Pantheon team. So Pantheon, just to give a quick rundown, Brad McQuaid, one of the major creators of EverQuest, started this project, and it's essentially classic EverQuest with up-to-date graphics, like the same type of playstyle you remember back then, that hardcore grouping, dungeon running. You're gonna be blown away. I can't wait to show it to you.
Please send me that link. I'm super excited.
I will. So that's it, Francis. Thank you so much for joining us, man. It's been a pleasure. You're awesome. Right now, the floor is yours. Anything you want to talk about? Tell people where to find Final Fantasy. Tell people where to find you.
Yeah, you can. Well, there's my Twitter. Hello, I'm Francis at Twitter. Twitter.com at Hello, I'm Francis. I guess that's how you do it. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition is now out on PC. It's on Steam. It's on Windows 10. It's on Origin. Go get it. You won't regret it. That rhymes. I did not mean that.
That was awesome.
That worked. Thanks again, Francis, man. I appreciate it.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Awesome guest. Thank you. Big thank you to Square Enix and the Final Fantasy team for putting that together, and big thank you to Francis. That was fantastic.